What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbin, coming to you on a Wednesday evening. Hopefully, everybody's had a great week. I know I have so far this week. Hopefully, the week keeps progressing. Got a lot of things I'm working on right now. A lot of it I'm preparing for all of you guys. And I'm very excited about it all. And hopefully, you all will be excited about it too. But as always, remember you all should follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast. We're going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. That way you'll be email notified whenever the KBR Sports Podcast is streaming live. Also, don't forget that you should follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports, where the live links and show topics are tweeted prior to every single show. And don't forget that you can also comment, like, and share. And also, make sure you subscribe and hit the little ringer bell so you always get post notifications whenever the KBR Sports Podcast is posted on each of those different mediums. That way you'll never miss a beat with the KBR Sports Podcast, and you'll be able to give your feedback and give your support for the KBR Sports Podcast. So, man, I just want to know, how's everybody doing? I mean, I haven't been on here for about a week, I'd say. I didn't really I'm not really caught up on the events from last week. Last week's events were something entirely different to me, so I'm kind of recollecting on some of the past week's events while putting a new week twist on them, if you would say. It's funny because a lot happened over the past week, so you end up just trying to encapsulate everything that happened in the past week into like one show and whatnot. So that's going to be a lot of what I'm doing this week, as well as a lot of the big news that came out this week, or a lot of the big news things that have happened this week. But I'm excited for all the new things that's going to be going on with the KBR Sports Podcast, y'all. I mean, I can't wait for you all to see all the new features coming to it, all the new different kind of things that are going on with the show and everything. Like, I'm super excited for it. Like, if you can't tell in my voice, like, I'm literally amped for it. It's funny because I have like how kids would say, like, the jitters or whatever. I guess kids wouldn't say I have the jitters, but how older folks say that they kind of have the jitters or the jittery about something. That's kind of how I feel about this whole because I mean, it's going to be a whole new podcast, pretty much is what's going on. And there's all new things coming out. It's going to be a website. I'm working on my own website at the moment, so you'll see that coming. You'll have the new podcast coming. You'll have new music, the whole nine. Music made specifically for the podcast. Shout out to one of the best musicians I know, Nana Usu, for working on that, because he's been great. He's part of 9193 Productions and everything like that. Like, he's just been great for the podcast, the things he's done for the podcast, and the music he's making for the show. So go show him some love on SoundCloud. Once again, the group's called 9193. So you definitely should show them some love. And yeah, y'all, I'm just excited about everything that's going on. So hopefully you all the people that have been around for the KBR Sports Podcast dating back to about 2 to 3 years ago. I mean, I appreciate every single one of y'all, for those who stuck around, who supported the podcast each step of the way. I mean, it's one of those things when you have a following, and no matter how big or how small the following, you always appreciate those that always tune into your show and consistently stick around to tune into it. And they don't just wait for when the show blows up and gets huge to come around and say, "Oh, I've been here since the beginning." No, there are some dedicated people that actually make sure they tune in for like every show. They try to catch every show. Like my boy Prince, he tries to catch. I try to shout out the people I know definitely listen to the show on a regular basis. Like, they'll actually comment. I see the comments on a regular basis. I try to interact with the people I see that do those kind of things. That's why I always tell you all to comment and share and subscribe and stuff like that, because we can build the following, and then when the following grows, I mean, your name gets out there more, because I'm going to acknowledge the fact that, hey, so-and-so has been rocking with me since whatever, even though I might not know you personally. Hey, I know that you've been supporting this show for forever, so of course I'm going to give you a shout out. Why wouldn't I? I mean, that's what it's called. Day ones are day ones for a reason. So I always know how it goes, y'all. So don't worry, I always appreciate you. But let me get the show kicked off with this. So LeBron James is a one of a kind player, generational kind of player, a generational talent, if you would say. He's what everybody would say is their ideal all-around guy. He can score, he can pass, he can assist, he can defend, he can rebound. LeBron pretty much does it all. So as we see that, and that was LeBron's whole big thing coming out of school, was that he was a player that could do it all. He could handle it all from all angles. He could pass, he could fill in the as a center for you if you needed him to. Everybody always talks about how versatile he is, about how he can guard positions 1 through 5, and it's always one of those things that LeBron can just essentially do all things. There's nothing LeBron can't do. And yesterday was a huge day for the King, because he ended up becoming the one and only person in NBA history, and I mean he's alone in an echelon, in a class all by himself when it comes to this statistic. But essentially, he's the only guy to ever have 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and 8,000 assists. Never done before in NBA history. Not done by Michael Jordan, not done by Magic Johnson, not done by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. No, LeBron is all in a class by himself in terms of those three statistical categories, and having those metrics at 30,000, 8,000, 8,000. And as for the looks of it right now, I mean, there's not really a lot of guys you could say that would most likely catch LeBron. I mean, you have a guy like, a lot of people would say they would tag a guy like Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook at this point, even him, he's too old. Russ is way too old. I mean, unless Russell Westbrook played at such a high level going long into his career, LeBron's been averaging 27, 7, and 7 since pretty much he walked into the league. And for somebody like Russell Westbrook to catch him, you can only imagine. Russell Westbrook will probably have to put up another like triple-double season, 2 more of those, to even be able to catch LeBron in all the statistical categories in order for him to do it in such a condensed time. Or he had to play out and essentially have a outstretched prime like LeBron has had while averaging those crazy numbers. So, I mean, and then the other guy that you probably can mention that would do the same thing is Ben Simmons, because he's young enough to do it, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, his playmaking ability isn't there for him to be in the same conversation. Nor, I mean, his scoring, because he's so young, his scoring could get there if he plays long enough. But this is one of those things that you realize how great LeBron is and how much of an anomaly it really is, what he's really been able to do in terms of scoring the basketball, assisting, and rebounding. And it's really, and y'all, I give LeBron all the credit. I mean, I have developed a reputation, and I mean, whether it's well deserved or whatever, I think I give LeBron his praise. I mean, I've developed my game as a basketball player after LeBron, so I don't know how I am painted sometimes as a LeBron hater, but I will say that I even in the midst of being tagged as a LeBron hater sometimes, or being categorized as that, I will say I give LeBron his props for the things he does as a playmaker, as a scorer, and as a rebounder. He does the little things in a lot of situations that makes his team better, and I give him kudos and credit for that. Now here's the part where I guess my LeBron hatred or whatever comes out, because a lot of people are going to start saying, oh man, here comes the but. Here's the but. And I mean, there is a but, or it's not even a but. I'm just going to say, I wish people would stop doing this one thing I hate the most when it comes into LeBron James conversations. When it comes to conversations like this about LeBron James all around game, and when we talk about LeBron James, this is what everybody does. Everybody says, oh, LeBron James, he puts up these kind of statistical numbers. He ends up scoring 30,000, being near the top. He's gonna finish. People say out of longevity, he's gonna finish being the number 1 scorer in NBA history, and all this and that. He's not even a scorer, and he still averages 8,000. He still has 8,000 assists and averages 7 assists on his career. That is the most annoying line in all sports to me. I don't care who says it. It is the most annoying line in sports. I cannot stand it. It irritates me. It gets me so annoyed. Like, you guys have no idea how much that line irritates me. And if you're confused as to why it irritates me so much, let me give you the reason why. The reason why it irritates me so much is because of the fact that I don't know where this falls near. Like, LeBron says it. LeBron says I'm not a scorer, and I feel like it's brainwashed everybody into thinking LeBron James is not a scorer. Like, he's not a natural scorer. That's not what his natural inclination is to score. And it's really annoying because we tag all these. We tag Russell Westbrook. He's a shoot first point guard despite averaging over 10 assists. We tag LeBron's never averaged over 10 assists in his career. We tag another guy like a Steph Curry is a shoot first point guard, despite Steph averaging nearly the same amount of assists as LeBron on his career, despite a lesser usage rate with the ball. We tag a guy as like Damian Lillard, who else? Sorry, John Wall. All these other point guards, these high profile point guards as shoot first point guards. And I mean, they are shoot first, but they average nearly the same assists as LeBron, but they're tagged as shoot first guys. Now, I don't know if it's because they don't play the prototype, and I think, actually, no, I do know. I think it's because they don't play the prototypical role of a point guard, like a Chris Paul, like a Steve Nash, like a Magic Johnson, that they end up getting tagged as a shooting point guard because they don't just naturally facilitate the game like those other guys, like the other guys I listed do. So with LeBron James, because he can play make, and he does average a higher amount of assists than most small forwards would at that position, since that assist counts only. And let's be fair. LeBron is exceptional as an exceptional passer. His ability to make plays for his teammates, his ability to create, his ability to penetrate the lane, be able to get to the rim, and all that is exceptional. His vision, the whole thing, exceptional. But it's one of those things where I think we get deluded into believing because he's a small forward with those abilities, we think that he's not a scorer and he's a pass first guy. No, wrong. LeBron is definitely a scorer. I don't know where this delusion is that LeBron is not a scorer, gets flooded into everybody's mind. He's a scorer. Just because he can pass doesn't mean he's not a scorer. Just because he's an exceptional passer doesn't mean he's not a scorer. It's one of those things that, because it's your natural inclination of what you do more on a possession that leans more to what you are as a player, and more so what you're more comfortable doing as a player, and just more so to even show the delineation of how different LeBron James is from other pass first point guards. Because this narrative has always been getting me. It's always bothered me. I'm like, why do people have this narrative about LeBron James? I've never understood it. So let's look at this. LeBron James on his career, I'm not just giving him one season, I'm going to give you on his career. LeBron James on his career is a natural field goal attempts per game, 19.6 field goal attempts per game. Averages 7.1 assists on his career. Okay, now that's great. I mean, that's really good. LeBron, I give you credit. I mean, that's credit. Those are great stats. But 19 shots a game, that's shooting guard shot attempts and natural shooter shot attempts. That's Kevin Durant is seen as a pure scorer. LeBron attempts more shots than Kevin Durant. So that's why I kind of get lost in this whole, LeBron's not a scorer. He literally attempts more shots than Kevin Durant. Like I'm missing something here. And Kevin Durant's a scorer. LeBron's shot attempts are right up there with the other guys. I mean, LeBron, and you don't get seventh on the all-time scoring list without being a scorer. Okay, like that it's such a delusional thing that people just thought there that just blows me. Because let me look at other pure point guards and let's stack up the numbers and see how they stack up. Magic Johnson on his career averaged 19.5 points. Magic wasn't a scorer. His field goal attempts per game 13.2. That's how many shots he attempted, 13.2. He did have 11.2 assists per game, so he averaged a double on his career. With Magic, now Magic is what you would say, well, he was the best point guard of all time, but he's more of a pure point than LeBron. People tend to compare LeBron to Magic because Magic had the small forward size at 6'9", but with the extremely cunning passing ability and his more so leaning towards passing. As a guy, he would lean towards passing way more than he would as a scorer. They actually had to urge Magic to score more in the later years of Kareem's downfall, when Kareem started going downhill. Okay, let's look at another pass first guy, Chris Paul. Okay, Chris Paul in his career averaged 18 points. Let me give him 18.7, but we'll say 19 just for the sake of giving Chris Paul some of his due. Shots he's attempted per game, 13.9. The 13.9 shots a game. All the pure point guards seem to hover around 13.9 or 13 shots a game. Let's look at how many assists Chris Paul's averaging on his career. 9.8. You can definitely tell, like, it's gone down this season with him playing with James Harden, but even this season, him playing with James Harden is 8.2. He naturally inclines himself to assist the basketball. That's naturally his inclination to do. Even though they've asked more of a scoring role for him now in Houston, playing alongside James. And one of the guy that is arguably the architect of the 7 seconds or less offense alongside Mike D'Antoni. Steve Nash averaged 14.3 points per game, averaged 8.5 assists. The man attempted 10.6 shots a game, and the most he attempted in a season was 13.6. Like, yo, that's a pure point guard right there. That's a leaning passer. Okay, Ben Simmons is the one guy that could possibly reach LeBron in this category in terms of his 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, 8,000 assists. Ben Simmons only attempts like 13.8 shots a game. Lonzo Ball, he's the guy that we tell he passes too much. He attempts 10.8 shots a game. LeBron's not a pure passer. He's a scorer with the ability to pass, with the exceptional ability to pass. Like, I don't know why this thing keeps lauding over everybody like he's not a scorer. Now, he might not have all the facets of a pure scorer, like a pure one-on-one guy. LeBron's a great team player. In terms of the great facets of a one-on-one guy that we lauded in guys like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, those kind of facets, he might not encompass all those things, but LeBron is definitely a scorer. Like, let's not get it twisted. He's a scorer without a doubt. He plays bully ball and takes advantage of the league rules now in today's league, and which just like Steph Curry does, like Kevin Durant does, James Harden does, all these guys do, and he plays bully ball and makes his way into the paint, and that he's able to score efficiently doing so. So I'm not trying to make it as like a thing I'm bashing LeBron or anything. I'm just trying to this shouldn't even be taken as a bash. If anybody takes this as a bash, then you're just you can't stand somebody painting a picture of your guy in a picture that's not obscene, that paints him on something that's just incredulous. Like, he is like, I think it's more of a compliment. Like, you're not like a completely pure scorer, yet you have such an exceptional ability to pass. Like, he is a scorer. Like, and for anybody that tells you he's not a scorer, just watch a Cleveland Cavaliers basketball game. I mean, LeBron James is a scorer. Like, you have like. I believe sometimes people just take analytics a little too far, but you can watch a game and tell. But these analysts I just gave you just illustrate the story the game tells you. LeBron is a score first guy, man. Let's not get it twisted. But also, you do want to commend him on the fact that because he is a score first guy that was able to, like, let me switch the script on it. Instead of saying he's a pass first guy that was able to score 30,000, and this more so goes into my LeBron and Jordan argument where I said people try to at like points, assists and rebounds measure the same amount as points. They don't, because look, it sounds more impressive when people say, hey, he's a pass first guy that scored 30,000, as opposed to saying he's a score first guy that got 8,000 rebounds, or 8,000 assists and 8,000 rebounds. So when people, it sounds way more impressive the other way around to say, oh man, you weren't even a scorer and you were able to get that many. So I'm just essentially flipping it to the less impressive one, because that is what actually is the truth about LeBron. He's a scorer that has the ability to pass, and he does get rebounds. So, congratulations to LeBron. I credit him. We should all give him a credit. And it's one of the things, his all-around game is where the game is going more so now towards. You see more guys caring about their stats, and a lot of guys care about their stats. Guys are trying to get more triple-doubles. Guys are trying to fill in the box sheet because they know those numbers are what helps you when you retire. Don't get it twisted. The reason why when guys are resting, they don't just play a couple minutes and then sit out the game, because they all care about their stats. Everybody cares about their stats. Every NBA player cares about their stats. Anybody that tells you they don't, they're a liar. They're playing you, because every single one of those guys cares about their stats. And their stats are when they retire is what people go back, look at the numbers. Not everybody's gonna look at tape and film and be like, oh man, yeah, so and so played a certain way. No, they're gonna look at the stats and be like, oh yeah, so and so was a really great player. So it's one of those things that when you're better all around, you have a way better case. But speaking of LeBron James, he actually made some comments about the NCAA that are quite interesting. I'm going to touch on when I come back from the break. It's KBR Sports, y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned.